Coaches, one of the most important things that you can spend your time on is how you structure your practices. This makes a huge impact in the culture, in your athlete's ability to compete, and you can get this wrong really fast. And so I'm going to go over the 3 things that you should be including in your practice structure if you want to build a winning culture in your gym. I just got done with practice just a 10 minutes. Those are my kids over there waiting for me to be done. But I want to talk about today's practice because the 3 components are there. Number 1, when they get into the gym, they need to be moving right away. And so I hate it when athletes like get into the gym and they dilly dally and no one knows who's setting up the nets. And then it's like, I have to tell them, I have to be like, okay, let's go, get going and practice. So I changed this a while ago where I've got a whiteboard in my gym. And I highly suggest if you don't have a whiteboard, get one. And on the whiteboard, I have a pre-practice plan. And so they come in, all athletes know exactly what to do when they hit the gym. And it usually includes some sort of reps that I don't want to waste time doing in practice. So like they're getting blocking, I coach volleyball. So they're doing blocking reps. They're doing some passing reps. They're doing these quality things. And I only rotate through like 3 or 4 different pre-practice activities. So they are right away active and engaged. Okay. I also have a system for who is setting up nets. So it's not like a question of who's going to do it today. Okay. Hi. And that also eliminates a lot of just like, team drama, honestly, but just so that they can get going right away. Okay. So have a system for who's setting up the equipment and then have a pre-practice so that they're getting ready. If you coach on a field or outside, like same thing, you can have a pre-practice on like a clipboard. You could have a captain make sure that they're in charge of it. Second thing, make sure that there's some sort of connection. In my pre-practice, I do have connection as well. Like I either have them like high five or they'll come into the gym and on the other side of the board, there's like a check-in process. So they check in on like what their goal is for the day, how much sleep they had, how much water they've had. And that's not to micromanage. It's just to help them be more aware. And I also position myself at that whiteboard. So I'm checking in with them and giving them fist bumps as they're coming in. There's some sort of connection that way. Now, for us, this is number 2, you have to be intentional with training what you value. A lot of coaches say they value coaching the whole athlete. They value the mental side of the game. They value it, but they do nothing in their practice to actually reflect that. And so be intentional with how you're doing it. And so for us, after we do pre-practice, I call everyone together and we do our mental training. So I am coaching the mental side of the game. I am coaching their mental health because it's so important. Does not matter how good of a practice plan you have and how much skill you're teaching if they cannot mentally be able to respond to the pressure of the game. And we coach at a high level. We've just won our 4th state championship. Like the pressure is on, the target is on our back more than ever. If my athletes cannot be mentally tough, it does not matter what I'm teaching them. So we build time in, we build 5 minutes a day in to do mental training. If you want to know exactly what I do, go to coachbretraining.com. I lay out the mental skills that I teach every day with my athletes, but we spend 5 minutes doing that. So we do something called the 3-2-1 Brave. It's our daily mindset routine. It includes some breath work, some visualization, some affirmation, a little journal time, but like honestly, it's 5 minutes and it makes my practices run so much more smooth. But for you, it's like you've got to build time into like what you value. Like how are you actually doing that in practice? And the next piece of it is make sure that you are training adversity. Make sure your practices are like putting your athletes in situations where they're having to respond to adversity. So they're game-like, but they're also competitive. And we intentionally do that by like making sure that the groupings of athletes is equitable, that we're making sure that our athletes are challenging themselves. On our board, we have everything written out and everyone has a number and they're making sure that, they know there's quick transition. So there's no dilly-dallying, waiting around. We're making it challenging for them through a scoring system as well. We do the competitive cauldron, things like that, so that they're feeling the pressure so that practice honestly feels harder than the competition. Okay. And then lastly, end with reflection. I always end with some sort of circle. We used to like link pinkies and do it, but everyone was like too sweaty and couldn't do that anymore. But basically we circle up and everybody reflects on their goal for the day. Did they meet it? How did it go? And then they give a shout out to somebody else. So it's a reflection, but also like recognizing the good in what other people are seeing. As a coach, I want to make sure that I am making sure that, girls are getting shouted out. So whether I'm doing that or just kind of keeping a mental inventory to make sure people are kind of like getting affirmed. But those are the essential practice structure things that you need to have in place. And I think I said it was going to be 3 and that ended up being 4. But the first one, make sure they're doing something right away. Make sure there's a pre-practice on the board. They know what they're doing. There's no dilly-dallying. Make sure that there's some connection in there as well. Have it in your practice structure what you value. We value the mental side of the game because we know how important it is, because I'm coaching at such a high level. They have to have it. We can't just say we have mentally tough athletes and not train it. So put it into your practice plan. And again, if you want to know the mental skills that I teach my athletes in less than 5 minutes a day, head to coachbretraining.com. Make sure your practices are game-like and they are competitive and athletes are, have opportunities to train the adversity of the game. and then finally end with some sort of reflection, and there you go. So if you want to know more, you can also head to my next video on this like simple hack that I do at the beginning of practice involving pre-practice. It's a simple hack for connection with your athletes that really has made a big difference in my coaching. So you can head to that video next.